Today is 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time. Again, Ordinary Time is time ordained for us to walk in the good works that God has predestined us to walk in. We have a very important lesson to learn today from the Gospel. Tapos na tayo ng 5 weeks yata tayo sa John chapter 6. Now we go back to the Gospel of Mark in chapter 7 where Jesus confronts the hypocrisy of the religious leaders, the Pharisees and the scribes. Because the Pharisees and the scribes were like they were like sticklers for ceremonies and rubrics and rituals and religious observances. Yung binanggit kanina sa pagbasa sa the gospel, the Pharisees were it was unacceptable for them to eat without washing their hands, especially when they come from the outside, marketplace or anywhere. And they're not talking about hygiene. Ang concern nila hindi yung germs o virus. Ang concern nila, religious purity. Parang, I don't know if you noticed this, right? Before the Eucharist, yung presider magugas ng kamay, di ba? Ceremonial washing. Hindi nyo alam, merong alcohol pa dito sa ilalim ng altar. Pang-hygiene talaga yun. But this is, the ceremonial washing has a spiritual significance. Binabanggit ng presider, wash me from my iniquity, O Lord, and cleanse me from my sin. Before, you use me to be an instrument through whom the bread and wine become the body and blood of Christ. Ceremonial yun, religious, spiritual. But that is the concern of the Pharisees. Not hygiene, not mpox or COVID. No. It's spiritual purity. And there's nothing wrong with that, as we will always say today. There's nothing wrong with that. The Pharisees, the name Pharisee originally or means holy. When they started the movement, it was originally with a good intention. Holy, well, not holy, but separate. Separate, that's the meaning of the word Pharisee, set apart. Which is no different than our calling, right? Come out from among them and be separate. Be holy, be peculiar. The holy means set apart, meaning different. Different but not detached. Separate, different from character, unrighteousness versus righteousness. Not detached from the world, from people. See, this was where the Pharisees failed. They fell into the trap of wanting to become the elite and really literally separate from the people. Jesus ministered to the unclean, to the sinners, to the lepers, to the dead. Those if you touch the dead or touch somebody with sickness, you will be ritually unclean for several days. The Pharisees didn't want that. They wanted to be pure spiritually. So they would not touch a leper, a sick person, a dead person, or a sinner with a 10-foot pole. Very unlike the holiness of Jesus. The holiness of Jesus is, I'm pure, but I'm among you as one who serves. You see, God is, we will drop two fancy terms today, okay? God is transcendent and yet immanent. Ano ibig sabihin ng transcendent? He's beyond all, He's among all things, but He's beyond them. He's outside of our limitations of time, space, and matter. He's outside of that. Okay? He's transcendent. He's beyond all this. He's not affected by time, by space, but He's omnipresent. And yet He's immanent, meaning He's omnipresent. He's present everywhere, and in fact, not just among us, but in us. He pervades everything, every square inch of His universe. So, parang si Jesus, no? Banal, holy, sinless, and yet not intimidated with ministering to those who are sinful. Diba? Ang sinabi ng psalmist, sabi ni David, no evil dwells with you, and yet He's in us. Because that's the only way He could save us from our sins, is to be with us and to work in us. So that's who God is. That's the kind of holiness He calls us into. Hindi katulad ng mga Pariseo na banal kami, ibig sabihin, hiwalay kami sa inyo. Hindi kami katulad ninyo. Mababa kayo, mataas kami. We're holier than thou. That attitude. And that's what Jesus now confronts. Kasi again, there's nothing wrong with ceremonies and liturgy and bowing and kneeling, raising your hands and jumping. I hope I could see more of that actually. Because we're the CEC, we're liturgical, evangelical, we're charismatic in expression as well. Be free and express your love for God in however, kanta natin, di ba? These are expressions of my love. I'll dance for you, sing for you, lift my hands in praise to you. That's good. But Jesus is saying, if you major in that, and you're excellent in that, but you fail in the area of the weightier matters of the law, which is justice and kindness and faithfulness, then you miss the point. You're just another Pharisee, he's saying. Kasi, parang dito sa loob ng worship hall, banal tayo. Acolyte tayo, ganyan tayo. Di ba? Again, I'm not mocking that, huh? It's good. But that has a purpose. Why do we kneel? Why do we bow when the cross processes? Because we reverence what the cross represents. What does the cross represent? The giving of self for the good of another. Bow ako dyan. Hindi sa metal. Hindi sa physical cross. No. Bow ako for what that stands for. I follow that. I respect that. I reverence that. I do that. That's the point. And where do we do that? Not here. Well, sometimes here among our brothers, but more especially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we live that out. If we don't, Jesus is saying, well then, you praise me with your mouth, but your hearts are far away from me. Jesus ministered to the sinners and the unclean. I've always, mentioned this illustration before. I think it's St. Ambrose who said this. God, in His immaculate white vestments, sitting on the throne, saw us falling into the mud. Quicksand, sabihin lang natin, no? Malambot na putik, but to Him, we're like a diamond, a precious stone. And we fell into the mud, down to the bottom. What does He do? He doesn't say, abracadabra, be lifted up, out of the mud. No. What does He do? He, in His immaculate white vestments, dives into the mud, gets Himself dirty, goes down to the bottom of the mud, picks us up, washes us. Because you know what? In His eyes, we never lose our value. Never lose our value. He made us good. We're not evil, not inherently evil, but nadudungisan tayo. And what He knows to do is cleanse us from our stains. That's what He does. And He has to be with us. In order to do that, He has to pay the price of and be messy. Di ba? Di bali na maglaba ako. Di ba? Makuha ko lang kayo. Because you need saving. And that sometimes is what love is about. It comes at a price. It's messy, it's risky, it's fatal sometimes, it's irritating, it's inconvenient. There's this Belgian priest by the name of Father Damien. Who knows that? Does that ring a bell? Father Damien. In like almost 200 years ago, in the 1800s, he went to his bishop and volunteered to go to Molokai, Hawaii, which was a leper colony. May mga ketong yung mga tao doon, naka-isolate sila sa isang island. And he believed he was called to minister to them. And his bishop told him, you run the risk of contracting the disease yourself. And Damien said, I don't care, it's my calling. Magkasakit, magkasakit. As long as I respond to God's calling. So he did. Eventually, he died of, guess what? Leprosy. But he ministered to the people. He built the community. He helped build the community. He built chapels and orphanages and other things. He helped build water pipes, etc., etc. He became one of them. Hindi siya nandiri. Hindi na sinabi, hindi pwede eh. You know, I can preach. Pwede nga online eh, no? Di ba? Kaya lang, hindi pa uso eh. But that's what he did. That's what it's about. That's what the commandment of God is about compassion. What is, again, how do we define love? The desire and the pursuit of the good of another, many times at cost to us. The bigger the cost, the clearer the expression of the love. Kung cheap lang yung binigay natin, hindi makikita yung laki ng pag-ibig natin para sa pinagbigyan natin, di ba? Kaya tayo kung magbibigay ng regalo, wag naman yung hand-me-down, di ba? Wag naman yung natanggap nyo nung Christmas, ayaw ninyo, ito na lang regalo natin sa birthday niya, di ba? Hindi mo natatandaan, siya rin pala yung nagbigay ng regalo sa'yo, no? Bumalik lang sa kanya. But that's what love is. And I want to contrast love and law. Actually, there should be no contrast because the spirit of the law, at least the law of God, the spirit of the law is love. The Christmas song says, His law is love, and His gospel is peace. The spirit of the law is love for God and love for brothers. So, when we obey the law of God, it should be because we are aware and we value our relationship of love with Him and with our neighbor. Why would we not steal from our neighbor? Not because it's a law, not because sa ibang bansa, puputulin yung kamay mo o makukulong ka, not because of that. Because I love my brother. I respect my brother. Hindi ko siya nanakawan. Hindi ko siya gugulangan. Or, if you're married, you're faithful to your wife, hindi ka mangangaliwa, dahil mahal mo siya, hindi dahil, pag nahuli ako ng ngaliwa, machichismis ako, mababash ako, at baka makulong pa ako. Ko alam kung anong kaso yun eh, di ba? Adultery. Not because of those. You stay faithful to your wife, to your husband, because you love them. Not because there's a law that says, pag hindi, malilintikan ka. You know, it should not be out of fear. Or on the other hand, it should not also be for profit. Lalambingin ko yung asawa ko. O kaya yung tatay ko. Mari, anak ako, lalambingin ko yung tatay ko. Siya sign ko yung sapatos niya. O maglilinis ako ng kwarto ko. Kasi may kailangan ako eh. Di ba? No, you did. No, love is never earned, should not be earned. Love is always given. And we are all called to give that love. And I always say, it's one way. Pag nagbigay tayo ng pag-ibig, walang dapat na inaasahang sukli. Wala. If our love is genuinely experienced by someone, hopefully they respond. When they respond, it should also be as pure as the love we gave them. Also one way. Bakit niya mamahalin? Bakit niya susuklian yung pagmamahal ko? Hindi dahil gusto niyang wala akong masabi, but because, no, I understand what love is. Love is no strings attached. I love you because I love you. I want your good. Even at my inconvenience. Even if I have to sacrifice. That's the spirit of the law of God. Why? Because the author of the law is love. God is love. So anything He does, everything that proceeds from Him is because He is love. You know, it's sad that marriage has been reduced to a transaction. At least in America, and in other countries, but in the U.S., they have what is called the prenup. Iba yung prenup dito, picture taking. Di ba? Pag prenup is prenuptial agreement. Meaning, lalo na sa mga mayayaman, yung pera ko, mara ako yung lalaki, no? Yung pera ko lang. Yung babae naman, yung pera ko rin lang. Kahit mag-asawa na tayo, walang conjugal ownership dito, no? O sharing of ownership. Hindi. Lalo na kung marami akong pera, di ba? Yun ang prenuptial agreement. But it became a transaction. It's sad. When originally, the vows, and we used this before in Old English, when the husband and wife vowed, originally it was just the groom that says this, but eventually became the groom and the bride's vow, they would each say to the other, with my body, I thee worship. Sipin niya, no? Parang idolatry, no? Worship. That's the word. Ibig sabihin nun, I value you with all of my possessions. Kung ano yung akin, sa'yo rin. And I will spend everything to please you. With my body, I thee worship. With my earthly goods, I thee endow. Tatawa nga ako minsan dahil merong isang nagsabi, with my body, I thee worship. Na body, with my body, not my friend. No? But that's the vow. That was the vow. And that's what marriage is about. In fact, that's what every Christian relationship should be. Love the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And your neighbor as yourself. How much do you love yourself? How much do you spend on yourself? How much time do you spend in front of the mirror? Women, how much? Answer that. Not as, men, not as much, right? But women, diba, pag merong picture, group picture, sino ang unang-unang tinitignan natin? Sarili natin, di ba? Pangalawa yung crush natin, di ba? Pero ako muna, itsura ko? Malapad ba yung mukha ko? Maayos ba yung buhok ko? Etc., etc. But that's what the law is about. And observance of the law is not merely just complying to appear obedient or holy to people. No. Understand what the purpose of the law is and the spirit of the law is. Jesus, St. Paul says in Ephesians, gave himself up for us because he loved us. Not because his dad was angry at us and he was trying to appease his anger. No. We're not, he's, he didn't do that for anything else, for any other reason but love. Because that's the spirit of the law. For God so loved the world, not hated the world because they're sinful. God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. Not because He's full of wrath, but because He's full of love. So that's the spirit of the law. So the law is good. The law is really good. It keeps us from, or seeks to keep us from sin, because sin is a threat to a good relationship with God and with our neighbor. Okay, that's the purpose of the law. To keep us from sinning, because sin is detrimental to the health of the relationship. Not because it's a legal problem, okay, because it's a threat to the relationship. The purpose also of the law is to mold us into the likeness and the holiness of God. God doesn't kill. God doesn't lie. God is faithful. That's why we should be too. That's what the law is there for. Again, if we merely legalistically comply, we miss the point. Okay, we miss the point. The law was made for man, not man for the law. Just like the Sabbath was made for man, for the good of man, not for his inconvenience or his bondage. So, sa gospel, sabi ni Jesus, you know what? Food doesn't defile you. Clean or unclean, it doesn't defile you. What goes into your body doesn't defile you, spiritually anyway. But what comes out of your heart through your mouth, that's what defiles. The anger, the bitterness, the jealousy, the hatred, the destruction of one another, the slander, that's what defiles a man. The real meaning of defile, look at defile in this definition. To make unholy. Okay? To make unholy. So, ibig sabihin, to be the opposite of God, because God is holy. To make unholy. That's what defile means. Not observing externals doesn't defile a man. Ungodly character does. Makes him unholy. Okay? So again, what's detrimental to our relationship with God and man is what proceeds from our mouth, out of our heart. Our judgmentalism, our lust, our envy, our divisions, etc., etc. Sabi ni St. Paul in 1 Corinthians, he said, food will not affect our relationship with God. We are no worse off if we eat, and no better off if we don't eat, whether clean or unclean food. But if you read on that chapter, the context, the emphasis is on building up our brother and avoiding making them stumble. Again, concern for them, compassion for them, love for them. That's the point. So Jesus is saying, be concerned not with religiosity, not with pietism, not with the appearance or the form of godliness, but purity of heart. Guard your heart, because from it flow the issues, the springs of life. Guard it. The springs of life flow from it. So, it's always a good time for spring cleaning. Kahit hindi spring, kahit hindi natin naintindihan kung ano yung season na spring. But clean the springs that flow from our heart. Jesus did not say, this is my commandment. Wash your hands, bow, genuflect before you go to your seat. Make the sign of the cross whenever the Trinity is mentioned. No. He said, this is my commandment. Love one another. Love one another. And those things, bowing and crossing ourselves, they're supposed to remind us of the true commandment, the weightier matters of the law, which is love one another. Love God and your neighbor as yourself. Again, these things, not wrong. These practices, not wrong. They're good. They're good if we understand and observe what they represent. That is reverence and love for God and for our neighbor. And that should translate in our everyday lives because it's the way it is in the kingdom of our God.